Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we have a really wonderful traditional tea cake recipe to share with you. One of my daughters has already gotten on to me about doing this one. So stick around, you won't want to miss a thing. So in a large bowl or a bowl with a hand mixer, I'm using a mixing bowl, we have a half a cup of softened or room temperature butter, and we're just going to get that starting to cream. Then to that we will add 1 cup of sugar, and I like to just stream that in so that it gets well incorporated with the butter. Just a light, that way if there's any clumps in the sugar, they'll get broken down and you won't just dump it all in at once. This gets the sugar evenly distributed and creamed with that butter. Now we're going to add in 1 egg and mix that in thoroughly. Now to that, we add in our baking soda, 1 teaspoon, or half a teaspoon, so sorry. And then we start to add in our flour. We're going to add in 2½ cups of plain all-purpose flour and just let that kind of go in and mix in really well. I do it about a half a cup at a time so that our dough comes together. It's going to be a little sticky, but just roll with it. We're going to give this some time to chill in the fridge so that it's a little easier to work with. And there I go making a mess with all that plain flour. That dough will start to pull away from the sides of the pan. I'm going to slow the mixing process down because it's starting to get a little stickier and pull away. And then we're going to add in a half a teaspoon of vanilla at the very end. Bring that dough together, and then we'll stop the mixing process and grab our spatula and some saran wrap and get it ready to chill in the fridge. So just take my spatula and clean off the paddle first. You'll see that the dough has all come together and it's rather firm. It's sticky, but it's firm. So we're cleaning off that paddle first, and then we'll scrape out what's in the bowl directly onto some plastic wrap. I kind of put it all in a big pile because we're going to flatten it out into a disc, and we're going to use our plastic wrap to help with that. I'll just fold that plastic wrap over and press it out into a disc and seal it up and pop it in the fridge and let it chill for at least about an hour. The longer, the better. Okay, we have finished our chill time. So now I have a lightly floured board, and I'm going to take my tea cake dough and just take it out of the plastic wrap. And I like to work with it in halves. You want to keep it cold, and it's kind of like a pie crust. You don't want to work it too much. So sometimes when it's too much, you can warm it up too much. So I'm going to use a scraper, a bench scraper, and just cut it in half and work with 1/2 of the dough at a time. So at first it's going to seem like it's rather stiff and rather hard. Just flour up your rolling pin and go to town. We're going to just press this out and roll it out into a large rectangle. I like to just roll mine out to probably about 1/4 of an inch of thickness. So Just take your time. Love on your tea cake dough and just spread it out to whatever thickness you desire. About a quarter of a teaspoon, a quarter of an inch, sorry, not a teaspoon, a quarter of an inch gets you that crispy outside and that warm, soft inside that we all hopefully grew up knowing as and loving as those old-fashioned tea cakes. Now we just have our pan ready to go and take your cutters of your choice. I'm using some festive holiday cutters here and just put them on a parchment or a baking sheet that has been lined with something protective. If you don't have a mat or parchment paper, just put them on an ungreased cookie sheet. You can also use a round biscuit cutter like I did on that last one and get that classic round tea cake shape. But we felt a little froggy and a little festive here. So when I have all my discard dough, don't fret. Just pile it up into a ball and just press it together and then pat it back out into a disc and roll it out to a 1/4 inch thickness and finish cutting out your beautiful cookies until it's all used up. Once you get them all rolled out and your sheet pan full, these will go into a 375-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes until they're nice and brown and delicious. Allow them to cool and they are ready to eat. You will never have another cookie like these old-fashioned tea cakes. Okay, so we finished a 10-minute cook time on these, and I did some with sprinkles, some just traditional rounds because they're tea cakes. This is the way that my grandmother and my Aunt Peggy always used to make them. But this recipe is so versatile. You can use seasonal cookie cutters to cook out any shape that you like. And we even added some multicolor sprinkles to these. It makes them all pretty and festive. They're perfect. There is nothing that screams my childhood more than these tea cakes. Let's give them a taste. See, now that's just the most perfect thing. It's a little crispy on the outside and a little chewy on the inside. That buttermilk, just a touch of it, cuts the sweetness of the cookie and makes it just a wonderful thing. If you've ever had a true Southern tea cake, you know what I'm talking about when I tell you that this is cookie perfection. We hope that you'll take this recipe and make it your own. It's great to do ahead of time. You can make that dough up and keep it in the fridge for up to a week or in the freezer for up to 2 months. Just let it thaw at room temperature before you're ready to use it, and then chill it for at least an hour before you roll it out. The recipe is easily doubled to make more, but this recipe makes about 3 dozen. And you might need more because I know I could eat a dozen of these in one sitting. Do I need to? No, but I could. They're that good and they're not that sweet. So we hope that you will head over to the website where you can find this recipe plus so many more just like it with a free printable recipe card and room in the margins where you can make notes, all free to you. Also, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a really good time and we want you with us no matter where we are. And as always, if you want all of our videos in one convenient place, head over to YouTube, search for The Buttered Home, and when you find us, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. This just means home to me. I hope that you'll try this recipe that's older than me and love it as much as we do. And let us know. Send us a picture. I love pictures of your food. As always, from the buttered home to your home, I sure love y'all. Bye.